And a very good evening too. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News. Barbados is on target for a record year in tourism, surpassing its targets in almost every source market. This disclosure from Chairman of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Alvin Jemmett, at the launch of the second annual Classical Pops Festival at Apes Hill in St. James. For the first 9 months of the year, the key tourism sector has seen an almost 15% increase in long-stay arrivals. And there's also been an increase in visitor spend, which some believe is as high as 5%.
Barbados is having one hell of a tourism year. On the current trajectory, I'd be bold to say that perhaps we're heading for a record year in terms of our tourism arrivals. But that did not happen by itself. No, I didn't do it by myself. I have a tremendous team at the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. And to have growth in all of our major source markets for the entire year, it speaks to the level of commitment, professionalism, and dedication of a great team at the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Mr. Jemmett says the BTMI won't be resting on its laurels and has other initiatives in the pipeline for the new year to ensure that the key sector continues to expand and grow. A doctor, possibly a politician, and definitely some time working in the tourism industry. These are all the dreams of 17-year-old Chloe Walker. But as CBC's Lisa Broom reports, Chloe is no typical teenager.
I interviewed the junior Harizonian when she returned to Barbados as the Junior Minister of Tourism for Barbados and the Caribbean. She won the title during 2015 Tourism Youth Congress, hosted by the Caribbean Tourism Organization in Curacao last month.
I get to go to the Barbados Tourism Product Authority and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. and see how the industry functions from that perspective.
And while she isn't helping to shape the policies regarding the island's tourism product yet, Chloe says it's in her blood.
I come from a family of hoteliers and my mother also works in the hotel industry, so it runs in my blood. But I definitely want to pursue a career in tourism amongst other things. So it's been my passion for a very long time. So I try as much as possible to develop a better understanding of the industry before I go into it as a full-time profession.
The outspoken teen admits to a passion for politics and plans to use the platform of Junior Tourism Minister to provide a political voice for the youth.
Sometimes the vision that the leaders of our country have, it doesn't necessarily take into consideration the Barbados that we want to grow into. I know there's a Barbados Youth Parliament, and I think maybe their opinions need to be taken a lot more seriously, and I think that the opinions of junior ministers have to be taken seriously also, because we truly are representatives of the people in our generation.
As for tourism from a young person's perspective, Chloe thinks planners are not capitalizing on several niche markets.
Many people in this day and age travel to go to various music festivals. Now, we do have several music festivals in Barbados, but they tend to stick within the same few genres of music like reggae or dancehall or soca. But we could look at a more wide perspective of music, and we could develop a music festival which hundreds of thousands of people go to every year. So I think that sometimes the development of the tourism product is done in a very conventional way, but I think the leaders of tomorrow need to look at more unconventional ways of thinking more outside of the box and appealing to niche markets that haven't been appealed to before. And that's the only way that our tourism product will ever develop and move past where it is now.
And there's the all-important social media, which, if Chloe had any say, would be used to market the industry. She's acknowledged what's being done on Facebook and Instagram to promote Barbados, but she thinks it needs to go much further.
Maybe we need a phrase that's distinct to Barbados. For example, I recently traveled to Curacao to compete for the competition, and they had a phrase that said douchey, which means basically you're sweet. And in Barbados, I mean, we have several phrases like that. Everything about us that's different, we've got to embrace, from the way that we speak to the foods that we cook to just our social norms. We need to market those things on social media because people don't travel to experience the same thing that they experience back home. So why should we market something that's conventional and mainstream? We need to market what's different about ourselves. So if it means on social media, on a Facebook site, I post someone on the street selling nut cakes, or maybe a fish cutter or bread and two, or maybe I post a picture of Rihanna traveling through Bridgetown. You know, we need to embrace what is ours. We really do.
Over the next year, Chloe will be involved in several activities. She will make a presentation at her alma mater, St. Angela's, on tourism awareness and take part in the Food and Rum and Wine Festival, as well as the Classical Pops Show and next month's Tourism Week. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
A male student is in serious condition at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital after he was stabbed by a fellow student this morning while at Trent's in St. Lucie. And the young man charged with his stabbing has already appeared in court and has been sent to Dodds Prison until next Thursday. 16-year-old Terrell Rogers of Station Hill in St. Michael was charged with the offence of wounding with intent. He appeared in the District D Magistrates Court and will reappear in the Holtown Court on November 19th. Police say the male student was allegedly stabbed with a knife by Rogers and was taken by ambulance to the QEH in a serious condition. Well, the fourth victim of the late October car crash along 2 Mile Hill, St. Michael, was laid to rest today. Family and friends gathered at the St. Barnabas Church to say their final goodbyes to Carrie Brathwaite this evening. News teams were not allowed to cover the funeral as the Brathwaite family asked for privacy. The funeral occurred just 2 days after the joint Thanksgiving service for the lives of Shamika and Shakira Shepherd and Waveney Johnson. The lone survivor, Nakisha Shepherd, is still hospitalized. We'll have more news after the break, but before we get to that, we want to hear from you on this question. Do you think young people are sufficiently aware of the value of the tourism sector? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news.
My baby. That's what we have to do.
You are a romantic.
I have diabetes, and I'm still the same.
Lucerna. Thanks to its benefits that help control my blood sugar spikes and provides energy, drinking it daily.
Lucerna, keep being you.
Download our mobile app and check your balance in an instant.
Wonder if Dave did the transfer yet.
We never take a break from serving you. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
What's this, you ask? Oh, it's just spreadsheet smashing, hedge trimming, dog walking, weekend awaying, show boating, gravity defying, tree chopping, glucose, knowledging, energy fueling, barbecuing, glucose refueling, engine revving, crowd surfing, home commuting, crocodile wrestling, explosion ignoring, awesome kind of energy. Whatever you do it with energy.
Your week just got better. Season 2 of the Tony Thorne Show. With new faces.
All the way from Vincy.
What's up, it's the girl Nikita.
Yeah, this is Peter Ram.
This is Marvin. Yo, this is King Baba.
Against the all, you watch the Tony Thorne Show.
New experiences. And new topics. Right here on CBC TV 8. So tune in.
The head of the Criminal Justice Research and Planning Unit says official crime statistics do not always present a true reflection of crimes. Director Cheryl Willoughby says not all crimes are reported to the police and authorized crime statistics can be skewed. Her unit is moving to paint an accurate picture and is counting on the work of the recently established Crime Observatory.
We are hoping that we'll be able to work with the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, so that all of that data that they're storing in different locations can be housed in one area so that persons doing academic research, persons who are looking to make a link between crime and, say, alcohol or drug use will be able to come to one place and have that data readily available. Right now, that does not exist in Barbados. We have to go to several locations in order to access the data.
Murders committed by knives, though common in the early 80s and 90s, have decreased in Barbados. The gun, however, has now become the weapon of choice, and these are among the findings of the just-released updated homicide study released by the Criminal Justice Research and Planning Unit. Senior Research Officer there, Kim Ramsey, says the killings come as there is easy access to firearms.
From the early 90s, guns became common and they continue to climb. Strangulations and beatings, as I said at the bottom, they have remained fairly consistent over the years, and they have started to die off more and more from the early 2000s. You will see people are less likely to be strangled and beaten as a form of homicide, method of homicide.
Ms. Ramsey says after speaking to boys on the block and those incarcerated, it was found that the current economic conditions, among other reasons, contributed to them resorting to some form of violence. Well, Governor General Sir Elliot Belgrave is continuing his visits to primary schools across the island. This time he was at the Blackburn and Gollop Primary. Sir Elliot was entertained by the musical and dancing talents of the students during his stay. In his address to the students, Sir Elliot noted the new surroundings of the school have helped it to achieve its fine academic results.
That wholesome surroundings are good for the morale of the teachers and the students. This encourages them to give of their best, where there is nothing to grouse about other than pay. Time usually spent on being miserable can be devoted to concentrating on how best one can develop new techniques for the improvement of the students and the school generally.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region. But first, we want